yo fuera una canción, sonarían por las calles, las montañas y los valles, mi orgullo y mi pasión. ¿Quién soy yo de corazón? Soy una ola, soy una onda, una vibración que ronda por el universo vivo. Y sonando soy testigo a nuestra unidad más honda.
Happy New Year, friends. Today, for our first episode in the new year of 2022, I'll be speaking to you all by myself in order to offer some brief reflections on our show. I'll be using the structure that you'll be familiar with if you're a regular listener. I'm going to reflect a little on where we've come from and then pass on to consider what's coming. It turns out to be an exercise particularly well-suited to the season of the new year. The month of January, in which we somehow find ourselves right now, takes its name from the Roman god Janus, a curious figure who had two faces, one turned toward the past and one toward the future. I don't know if Janus knew how to sing. Maybe he had two voices. But today I plan to make my reflections with the help of the many and diverse musics that our interviewees have brought us in the course of the last 9 months. But first, let's begin with a little data. From our first episode, released on March 19th, 2021, to today, we've brought you 19 episodes. This one makes number 20. One every 2 weeks, without fail, right up to our December break. Most have been long-form interviews with people who live or work in Santa Ana, California. And it's worth recalling that every episode is released in 2 languages. We continue to be one of the very few podcasts in the world that is completely bilingual. Every interview is translated, re-recorded with an actor or actress, and re-edited along with all the commentaries and introductory materials. A little while ago, Wes, one of our audio engineers, commented that this means that, in effect, we've produced 40 episodes in only 35 weeks. We're quite proud of this accomplishment. Our interviewees, the heart and soul of the project, represent all adult age groups from 19 to some 84 years of age, and a range of occupations that includes artists, musicians, nurses, teachers, house cleaners, students, gardeners, professionals, and more. Some are parents. And it's notable how many are community organizers. Activism is an electric current that runs through the veins of our show, and it's something that makes Santa Ana a very exciting place to live. With all this, I do want to point out that we've only managed to represent a few corners of the multi-ethnic, multilingual human landscape in which we are based. Now Janus puts on his forward-looking face. We'd really like to be able to connect with the local communities that speak Asian languages. There are many of them. We'd like to connect with more members of the Black community. And I wish we could find a suitable way to connect with the many Santaneres who presently live unhoused, scrabbling out their lives among the streets and alleyways, chased out of so-called public spaces by the police as if their homelessness were a crime. It remains to be seen if we'll realize these hopes. Of course, we cannot be all things to all people, and Si Yo Fuera Una Canción has its planned termination at the end of June of this year, when our grant funding runs out. But naming a dream can be the first step toward its realization, and the year is yet young. Now, dear listeners, I want to invite you to accompany me on a lightning musical journey through 40-some songs that we've featured so far, touching on the most striking and relevant themes that they've evoked in our interviews to date. Fasten your seatbelts, please. I think the theme that encompasses all the others in our show, the meta theme, is the question of our due place in this world. Every single one of us will ask ourselves about this repeatedly during our lives. Every one of us is going to come to different answers on their path. This human tendency to question and to seek gets a classic expression in the song La Masa, or The Hammer, by Silvio Rodriguez, which Laura Pantoja shared with us in episode 15.
Si no creyera en la locura, de la garganta del sinsonte, si no creyera que en el monte se esconde el trino y la pavura, si no creyera en la balanza, en la razón del equilibrio.
This question of our place in the world has a particularly sharp edge for migrants and the children of migrants, a large population in Santa Ana that includes some 2/3 of our interviewees to date. Some of them have chosen songs that directly explore the migrant condition. Thus, Jorge Drexler in his song Movimiento from episode 6 with Lucy Dale.
Apenas nos pusimos en dos pies, comenzamos a migrar por la sabana, siguiendo la manada de bisontes, más allá del horizonte, a nuevas tierras lejanas. Los niños a la espalda y expectantes, los ojos en alerta, todo oídos, olfateando aquel...
So too Ana Tijoux in Vengo from episode 12 with Marla Sanchez.
Vengo en busca de respuestas con el manojo lleno y las venas abiertas. Vengo como un libro abierto, ansiosa de aprender la historia no contada de nuestros ancestros, con el viento que dejaron los abuelos y que vive en cada pensamiento de esta amada tierra. Quien sabe cuidarlo es quien de verdad la quiera. Vengo para mirar de nuevo, para ver los sitios y despertar el ojo.
The great Atahualpa Yupanqui, whose music was shared by Luis Sarmiento in episode 4, expresses the tension between past and future that migrants know so well as a fundamental aspect of the human condition in his beautiful song, Tú que puedes, vuélvete. You who can, come back.
Soñé que el río me hablaba con voz de nieve cumbreña y dulce me recordaba las cosas de mi querencia. Tú que puedes, vuélvete, me dijo el río llorando.
The river of nostalgia that flows through this song has become at times a very strong current in our show. Many participants have chosen songs that evoke the places they were born, and many of these places are in Mexico. Accordingly, our show has at times become a nostalgic revisiting of Mexican regional musics. And it must be said that Mexicans do nostalgia like nobody else. Angelica Sanchez, in our very first episode, kicked off with the wonderful Canción Mixteca, an archetypal example of Mexican longing for the far away.
Qué lejos estoy del suelo donde he nacido. Inmensa nostalgia invade mi pensamiento al verme tan solo y triste cual hoja al viento.
Laura Pantoja, in episode 15, evoked the nostalgia for the long ago with her childhood memories of the music of Cricri.
La patita de canasta y con rebozo de bolita va al mercado a comprar todas las cosas del mandado.
Se va meneando al caminar como los barcos en alta mar.
Mariachi, a musical symbol of Mexicanness recognized the world over, evokes for many a potent mix of nostalgia and national pride. Graciela and Jorge Holguín, in the double episode 5, guided us through some memorable moments from this grand tradition of Jalisco State.
Guadalajara, 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 Guadalajara.
Tienes el alma de provinciana, hueles a limpia rosa temprana. A verde cara fresca del río, son mil palomas tu caserío. Guadalajara, Guadalajara, hueles a pura tierra mojada. Redes que tienden los pescadores en la laguna. Redes que noches de luna son como encajes de oscuridad.
But mariachi is only one of many musics from Jalisco. Our interviewees, Diana Morales in episode 13, as well as Patricia Flores in 18, evoked indigenous musics from the same area, reminding us of the Purépecha and Cuyuteca traditions, respectively.
Mora diadalia titi curapitia Manga chucancha chiamale clari Ima jardini chacuti jucas la marja chambetiti Te colote de donde viene, vengo de la mar volando Te colote de donde viene, vengo de la mar volando De miedo del gavilán, de miedo del gavilán que ella me viene alcanzando, que ella me viene alcanzando.
Meanwhile, in episode 11, Yuritsi Elizabeth showed us a kind of nostalgia with a wry twist in La Tapatía, an affectionately ironic musical recollection of the capital city of Jalisco, Guadalajara.
Aquí la voz de Guadalajara. En Guadalajara fue donde yo me enamoré.
Passing to the other side of the isthmus, the pride and struggle of indigenous youth in the coastal regions of Veracruz can be heard in the song Marap, shared by Luis Sarmiento in episode 4.
Bienvenidos a tierra veracruzana, jarochos del son de la lengua enredada, del baile folclor, tanyú de jarana, del ritmo del gozo de la chambatada. Ay, lo bello del jardín, la cultura, mi arte, sus pa del país, desde el tamal a Cayán, Chipilín, al trabajo producto de nuestro maíz.
In the end, no show that tries to represent the musical lives of migrants would be complete without the famous song of Facundo Cabral, No soy de aquí ni de allá. I'm not from here or from there, which Yax Montaño brought us in episode 16. Yax prefers the iconic version sung by Chavela Vargas, whose inimitable voice lends another layer of ambiguity to the already ambivalent lyrics.
Me gusta el sol y la mujer cuando llora, las golondrinas y las malas señoras, abrir balcones y abrir las ventanas y las muchachas en abril.
But of course, nostalgia, remembrance, and reflection make up only one face of the human condition. The other, Janus style, faces what is to come with courage, resolution, imagination, and sometimes rage over lived injustice. The howls of Victoria Ruiz of the Downtown Boys erupt from her throat against the social and human outrages that capitalism inflicts on this world. It's one of the songs that Marilyn Montaño brought us in episode 19. Its message, though not its musical style, finds an echo in What It Means by the Drive-By Truckers in episode 2 with Fernando Agredano, as well as in Robin Hood Theory by Gang Starr from episode 18 with Patricia Flores. Both these songs openly protest U.S.-American racism.
He was running down the street when they shot him in his tracks. About the only thing agreed upon is he ain't coming back. There won't be any drop, so the air won't be clear. There's just two sides calling names out of anger, out of fear. And if you say it wasn't racial when they shot him in his tracks, well, I guess that means that you ain't black. It means that you ain't black.
Now that we're getting somewhere, you know we got to give back. For the youth is the future, no doubt that's right and exact. Squeeze the juice out of all the suckers with power and pour some back out, so as to water the flowers. This world is ours. That's why the demons are leery, it's our inheritance. This is my Robin Hood theory. Robin Hood theory. I seek son, deceive none. For each one must teach one. At least one must flow and show the structure of freedom.
At the heart of any effective protest is the simple act of speaking truth to power. This can be done in a friendly, even a happy tone, as the group Emma's Revolution does in Code Pink, shared by Kylo Quinn in episode 9.
It's blood for oil, we know there's a link. They say Code War, we say Code Pink. It's blood for oil, we know there's a link. They say Code War, we say Code Pink. Code Pink for freedom, Code Pink for peace, Code Pink till hunger and war have ceased. Code Pink for women, boys, men and girls. Together we'll make peace.
Direct protest is only one way of facing the future, of course. Marching alongside resistance and protest, hand in hand with them, in a manner of speaking, come imagination, dream time, and even fantasy, as Alberto Cortés reminds us in episode 10 with Castillos en el Aire, Castles in the Air, shared by Abel Ruiz.
Quiso volar igual que las gaviotas, libre en el aire, por el aire libre. Y los demás dijeron, pobre idiota, no sabe que volar es imposible. Mas extendió las alas hacia el cielo y poco a poco fue ganando altura.
We get another reminder from the Nicaraguan duo Guarda Barranca, introduced by Cat Quinn in episode 3.
Mi luna ha visto tanto que cuando le canto su plata me acuna como a los santos y los prisioneros, los amantes.
The rich vein of fantasy, imagining alternative landscapes, worlds, and futures, is mined by all ages, as we are shown first by the young Jacques Montaño in episode 16 with the sonic flyover of Flight 319, and then by the mature Don Apolonio Cortés in episode 14 with the evocative sonic landscape of Blue Navajo.
No pigmentation, giving you the blues. Suffering from FOMO, she could come too. Screaming out YOLO, jumping off the roof. One more drink, one last salute. She's betting on signs, she says she need proof. If I was out of my body, you would see the truth. And my brain's bruised from all of the bad news. And my brain's bruised from all of the bad news. Lost her only son and he wasn't even 3. Now try telling her that everything's been
What's certain is that the voyage forward, whether we fly or we march, will ask a lot of us. It's for this reason, I think, that another theme that has arisen regularly among our interviewees is the necessity of good self-care. Our playlist abounds in songs dedicated to raising confidence and sustaining faith in oneself. For some reason that I haven't been able to analyze yet, this kind of musical advice is mostly offered through hip-hop and R&B. Thus we find Ana Tijoux singing Creo en ti, I Believe in You, in episode 13, shared by Diana Morales.
Creo en lo imposible, que la locura más cuerda es buscar cómo ser libre. Creo en lo imposible, que de nuestras espaldas brotarán las alas que nos harán volar invencible. Creo en lo imposible, que el Simbo silenciará el efecto de sus misiles. Creo en lo imposible, creo que es posible hacer de este mundo un mundo sensible. Creo en nuestros sueños como punta de lanza, el arma perfecta para nivelar la balanza. Creo en las acciones cotidianas.
In episode 19, Marilyn Montaño shares Mija, a tender evocation of parental support, sung by Vel the Wonder, an independent rapper.
Dream big, mija, yeah. You can see the world. Everything the sun touches is yours. Don't focus on this place, nah. Dream bigger than anything, then focus on that race. You were meant for big. Yeah, I'm talking real loud. Got me feeling like your dad, real proud. Listen, anything boys can do, you can do better. And no man will love you more than me ever. Your mom too, rooting for you always.
And in episode 6, Lucy Dale also touches on the theme of the body as temple with the song Holy by the poet and rapper Jamila Woods of Chicago.
Give me today my daily bread. Help me to walk alone ahead. Though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no love. Oh, my smile, my mind reassure me I don't need no one. Woke up this morning with my mind set on loving me with my mind.
On the R&B side, episode 8 with Brian Peterson brought us the hyper-animated Man in the Mirror of Michael Jackson, while episode 12 with Marla Sanchez featured the more introverted Authors of Forever by Alicia Keys.
We are lost and lonely people, and we're looking for a reason, and it's alright. So let's celebrate the dreamers. We embrace the space between us, 'cause it's alright.
The will to keep going, to get ahead, and to change the world isn't just found in inspiring lyrics, however beautifully they're sung. Bodily movement also inspires us, and it's inspired in turn by a kaleidoscopic range of rhythms and grooves. Dance turns out to be another important theme on our show. The traditional dance of Veracruz is featured in episode 7 with Terry Sadak. A little more sedate, perhaps, the vallenato that Fernando Agredano offers us in episode 2.
Los caminos de la vida no son como yo pensaba, como los imaginaba, no son como yo creía. Los caminos de la vida son muy difícil de andarlos, difícil de caminarlos. Yo no encuentro la salida. Yo pensaba que la vida era distinta cuando estaba pequeñito.
While the son abajeño shared by Diana Morales in episode 13 is on the animated side.
Y esto es el orgullo de Michoacán, la banda Ceraway.
Dance can also evoke tender memories, as does the vals shared by Abel Ruiz in episode 10, the classic Sobre las Olas.
En la inmensidad de las olas flotando te vi, y al irte a salvar por tu vida la vida perdí. Tu dulce visión en mi alma indeleble grabó la tierna pasión que la dicha y la paz me robó.
Dance music moves us forward physically as well as spiritually, even if the words are all about the past. This is what happens in September, the happy classic funk song shared by Patricia Flores in episode 18. The good cheer and hopefulness that just overflow from Earth, Wind, and Fire can also be found in the last group of songs I'm going to discuss here, those that deal with unity and love. Another meta-theme that inspires not only many of our interviewees, but this entire project. Unity and love march together under the flag of great inspirational phrases like those of the choruses of All You Need Is Love, shared by Terry Sadak in episode 7, or We Are the World, shared by Brian Peterson in episode 8. Unity can further be explored through acts of radical identification with the other. The soy tú, I am you, suggested by the great songwriter Luis Pastor in his En las fronteras del mundo, offered by Yuritzia Elizabeth in episode 11.
Soy tú, soy él, y muchos que no conozco. En las fronteras del mundo, en el miedo de tus ojos, abandonado a tu suerte y a la ambición de unos pocos. Soy tú, soy él, y muchos que aquí no llegan, desperdigados del hambre, despojados de la tierra, olvidados del destino, heridos de tantas guerras.
Unity and love can also be found at home, around the table, passing the time with loved ones, but with the door open to whomever might show up. A scene both familiar and radical, painted by the Highwomen in their country song Crowded Table, shared by Cat Quinn in episode 3.
Want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone.
For me, all these different ways of exploring and expressing unity and love are braided together and added up in this sweet but powerful song by Maren Morris, shared by Carlo Quinn in episode 9, Dear Hate.
Dear hate, I saw you on the news today. Like a shark that takes my breath away, you fall like rain, cover us in drops of pain. I'm afraid that we just might drown. Dear hate, will you share our cup?
There is one song left from our playlist that I've saved for the end, and that's the one that Angelica chose in episode 1.
Gracias a la vida me ha dado tanto, me dio dos luceros que cuando los abro perfecto distingo lo negro del blanco y en el alto cielo su fondo estrellado.
I want to close today's show by expressing my special thanks to my production team. Over the past year, we have gone from being a motley crew of students and new professionals, led by a musicologist in her 60s with no experience in podcasting, through a million lessons, large and small, about what it means to launch and sustain a community media project, to becoming, step by step, a small, close-knit community of our own. That was something I didn't see coming when I began this project, and it continues to be a joy despite all its challenges. I am eager to see what this new year brings us, and I'm eager to see where we will take our show in the months to come.
Si yo fuera una canción, sonarían por las calles, las montañas y los valles, mi orgullo y mi pasión. ¿Quién soy yo de corazón? Soy una ola, soy una onda, una vibración que ronda por el universo vivo. Y sonando soy testigo a nuestra unidad más honda.